sharing with you, my name is Heidi Pitman, and I teach the Bring Your A Game to Work curriculum here at Washburn Tech. I go around to all of the different programs, and I certify students in work ethics. So I'm going to just share with you a little bit about the benefits that you're going to get from this class. The first thing that I would share with you is that you guys are going to learn about the 7 behaviors that will help you to be successful in work and life. They're the 7 things on the front of your workbooks or on the front of that white packet. That's what, they're all A's, okay? It's attitude, attendance, appearance, ambition, accountability, acceptance, and appreciation. Did I get them right? I think I got them all. That's why it's called Bring Your A Game to Work, because they're all A's. So every time I'm with you, we're going to talk about one of the A's. And then at the end of this journey, you're going to get a certificate, okay? Now this certificate is going to have Washburn Tech's logo on it. It's going to have your name. So today I'll come around and get the correct spelling of your name, and then it'll have my name on it as your certified trainer, okay? So you're going to get a certificate, and you're going to learn about the 7 behaviors that will help you to be successful in work and life. Now this certificate, I do want to share with you that I've had some students that as a result of taking this class, their salary went up like $1.50. So this, if you already have a job, I would highly encourage you to show your employer that you've taken this class. I've also had some students that got their job because they were work ethics certified, okay? So this is just something that we're trying to do to help you guys here at Washburn Tech to not just give you the skills that you need to get a job in some of these areas, but to help position you to have a competitive advantage, so when you're competing against other candidates, you're the one that they want to pick, okay? So that's that's the benefit that you're going to get out of this class. Now, you may be wondering, what do I have to do to get the certificate? So here are my requirements. The first one is you just need to be here. You need to be in attendance. Okay? If you're not here, you can't learn the materials. You need to participate. So I always like to take a poll, how many people in this class have worked in some job somewhere? Anybody? Any of you worked? Okay, a lot of you have worked. So you all definitely have something to contribute when we're talking about work and work environments and things like that. The rest of you that maybe you haven't had a job yet, I bet that you've been doing some work around your house, or you've helped with projects or things like that. So you will still have something to contribute as well. Or you've been on a team, or you've been in a club, okay? So everybody's just going to participate. Now I try to be as engaging as I possibly can be, okay? I try to keep everybody awake and stuff like that. But it's going to be a lot more interesting if we all participate together, okay? So participation. And then the last 2 are really the difference between what I would consider to be just a good or an okay class and a great class, okay? So positive attitude. So have you guys ever been around somebody that's negative? Okay. When you're around a person that's negative, what is the fallout of that? How does that affect? You get brought down with them. Thank you. When you're around a negative person, it's kind of like a cancer. It starts to bring you down too. And so we don't want the class to be negative. Okay, so if everybody stays positive, then this will be a fun place to be. Okay. Now the last thing on my list is an openness to learn and grow. So here's what I've seen sometimes happen when I teach this class. Sometimes people they're not saying it to me out loud, but I can just tell by their body language, they're thinking in their brain, I don't need this class. I didn't sign up for this class. I've gotten every job I've needed without this class, right? And so it's just kind of that kind of an attitude of like, I already know all this stuff. Okay, that's kind of the attitude that I kind of portray from some people. I just want you to know that the people that have that kind of an attitude, I've found after I've trained over 1,500 students, those are the students that need this class the most. Okay? If in your mind you're saying, this is a waste of my time, I can't believe I have to do this, blah, blah, blah. Just in the back of your mind go, oh no, I gotta stop myself, because there are gonna be some good things that she's gonna be talking to me about. Now, why is this class relevant? You might be wondering, why did they even hire me to come teach this at Washburn Tech? What you need to know is that when the business partnerships that we have, the Stormont Vales, the Kansas Health, St. Francis, right, University of Kansas, those types of companies that hire you guys, what they said to us is that you guys, as Washburn Tech, you're doing a great job of teaching your students the skills that they need to know to go out and be successful in their trade. But one of the things that we're seeing that you could help us with is teaching the soft skills. The soft skills are those A's that we're talking about. Having a positive attitude, being reliable and showing up, that's the attendance piece. Being professional in how you look and how you act, that would be the appearance piece. Taking initiative and doing more than the minimum, that would be the ambition. Having honesty and integrity in everything you do and say, that's the accountability piece. Being respectful and getting along with other people, that would be the acceptance piece. And then the last one's the appreciation, having good customer service and having an attitude of gratitude. Okay, so that's why they brought me here, is because they want us to equip you guys in this. And they believe that if we do that, that will give you a competitive advantage, that you'll be doing even better in the workplace having these soft skills, or training in it at least, okay? Now, there are 3 things that are affecting decline in work ethics. So I always like to take a poll just to see how many of you have experienced these 3 things. So how many of you would say, Heidi, and there are these 3 things: chores, family meals, summer jobs, okay? How many of you, I want you to just raise your hand if you've done this, how many of you did your parents, growing up through high school here, maybe even in elementary school, had you doing chores? How many parents had you do chores? Most of you. Okay, you guys, you need to thank your parents. Because what they've taught you by just doing that chore is, hello, you're not on a cruise ship and you're not living in a hotel. Everybody's got to pull their own weight. And when you get into a job or into a career, everybody's got to pull their weight there too. Just because you have your degree doesn't mean you're going to start out at the lead position, okay? So the chores teach you about that hard work. It's usually not fun. Like making your bed's not fun, is it? Or doing the dishes. I mean, typically, unless you just love to clean, it's not the most fun things. All right, second thing. How many of you would say that most nights, and don't raise your hand yet, that you sit down together as a family to share a meal? And I'm going to just share with you guys that my husband and I, we both work. We had 2 kids in 2 different high schools. And I would tell you that maybe 3 times a week we sat down together as a family. So not every night. I wouldn't even be able to raise my hand and say every night we sat down together and shared a family meal. But how many of you would say most nights your family sits down and shares a family meal? Maybe one of you. Okay, thank you for being honest. A few of you. Okay, great. Okay, that's kind of the thing that's going away. How many of you would say, how many of you have ever sat down together for a family meal? Okay, some of us have. Good, good, good. Okay, when we sit down together and have that family meal, what takes place? Conversation. Well, we're eating, yes, but good conversation. What do you usually talk about? Catching up on the day. What happened today? What was good? What was bad? What was your high? What was your low? And you're laughing around the table, talking about memories or funny things that happened in your day, okay? Well, there's less of that communication happening because we're all going different directions. And so we need to kind of start to bring that back maybe just a little bit. So what happens when you do get to do that is that you get to speak, like when I did that with my kids, I would get to kind of know what's going on with them and kind of encourage them and give them some coaching on what they could do with these different scenarios, okay? But this is kind of dying a little bit, this family meal thing. So there's something that happens when you share a meal together, that you break bread together and you talk, those kind of things. Last thing, summer jobs. How many of you have had a summer job through high school? quite a few of you. Keep your hands up if you would say that your summer job is your dream job. Okay, yeah, not most of us. So, okay, you guys, I'm going to share with you that my first job was Furr's Cafeteria. Okay, I don't know, you guys are probably too young to remember Furr's Cafeteria, but I want you to picture in your brain Golden Corral and your high school cafeteria. Put those two together, and that's what I did. I was your greeter, and I said, oh, do you want to let me serve you up this, and we went all through, right? We went all through the lineup, and then I did some mopping, and I did some washing tables, and it was in that job that I said to myself, oh, no, this is not what I want to do the rest of my life, right? Maybe some of you have done these jobs, and you're thinking, this is why you're here at Washburn Tech, because you do not want to do that job the rest of your life, right? But I will tell you that in those first jobs, you're learning those good work ethics. In the Dillon's jobs, in the Sonic jobs, in the Papa Murphy's jobs, you're learning that hard work ethic. A lot of people today aren't even working in a job through high school. So their first job is once they get out of college, okay? My nephew plays competitive soccer, and he's a senior this year. Last summer was the first summer he even worked, and he was only able to work for just a pocket of time because he, competitively, he's in competitive soccer. So if you haven't had those experiences, though, you don't know. You don't know what it's like to work at some of these places. So we want to try to equip you in that. Next time when I see you, we're going to do the pre-assessment. Okay, this is what we usually do next, but we're going to kind of skip that and go on to, I'm going to talk to you guys about personality shapes. Now you guys, I do want you to know that I have taken a poll from our business partners, and I asked them, of these 7 A's, when I'm going around and teaching students, which ones are the most important to you in hiring a candidate to join your team? So I want to ask you guys, who thinks they know which one hit the top, one of these hit the top 3? Raise your hand and tell me. Yes? Accountability, ding, ding, ding. Accountability hit one of the top 3, okay? Yes? Attitude, yes. Ding, ding, ding. Attitude hit one of the top 3, and then the back.
Attendance.
And attendance. Good. Okay, so let's go back. Accountability. Why'd you say accountability?
You're going to need your employees to be reliable.
You need your employees to be reliable. You need your employees to be honest and have integrity. You don't want to have to be standing over them all the time, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, good. Who said attitude? Yes.
I say attitude because I feel like it really matters the way you act and like give off energy towards people.
Yes, the way you act and give off energy really matters. It really does. It sets the tone for the whole environment. And then in the back you said attendance. Why?
That's knowing that you will have them there, it's pretty much building up trust and liabilities.
Yeah, you need to know that people are going to show up. They're going to do their job. You can't add value if you're not there. Now, I just want to show you guys that of the top 3, positive attitude and attendance are 2 of my top 3 that employers, that's why it's in the requirement list, okay? Because that's how important it is. We're going to practice it here because that's how important it is out there. But you guys are onto it. You guys have the right thoughts in mind when it comes to, just know that's what they're looking for. They want to know that you have a positive attitude, that you're going to show up, and that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, okay? So a little bit about me. I'm a picture person, okay? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I came to Washburn Tech, why I'm so passionate about teaching this curriculum, and then I'm going to share with you guys about the personality shapes. So you guys, I grew up here in Topeka, okay? And I went to Shawnee Heights High School a long time ago. After I graduated from Shawnee Heights, I went to Kansas State University, and I got my degree in this long word. See if you've ever heard of it before. It's Industrial Organizational Psychology. Anybody heard of that? No, most people haven't. But you probably have heard of human resource managers. Have you heard of human resource? These are the people that hire you. These are the people that get you going on your insurance. They do corporate education and training. They get you help with performance reviews, things like that. Okay, so that was what my training was in. Right after I graduated from college, I went to work for Hallmark Cards. You guys heard of this company, Hallmark Cards? I did a little bit of recruiting for Hallmark. I did some recruiting for K-State while I was there. So I've done some interviewing of people, okay? I've been in situations doing that. For about a year and a half I worked there before I met this guy there in the middle. That's my husband, Rob. And he at the time lived in California. So I was in Kansas City, he was in California. We're both in corporate jobs. We get engaged, I move out to California, and I decide, you know what, maybe not a good idea for both in a corporate job. So I went back and I got certified to teach. So I have an education background, I have a little bit of business, recruiting, interviewing type background, okay? Taught before we had kids. Then we had Ashlyn, who's now a junior at K-State studying animal science and ag econ. She went to Washburn Rural. Jarrett is a sophomore at K-State studying ag econ. And Ashlyn's junior year, we had a foreign exchange student come from Denmark. While they were going through, approaching their senior years, I went back and I got certified to be a life coach. How many of you guys have heard of what a life coach is? Anybody heard about this thing called life coaching? Okay, let me tell you the difference. Difference between a counselor and a life coach. A counselor helps you work through your past so you can move forward. A life coach helps you to get from where you are to where you want to be. And that's really what I get to do with this curriculum, is I get to equip you with a lot of the things that I learned in my life coaching certification process to help you get from sitting to where you are right now. You guys are all sitting here. This is your reality. This is where you are. But this is probably not where you want to stay, even though you like Washburn Tech a lot, right? You want to go launch out and do great things in life, and you're going to share that, what those things are, with me next time I see you. But I'm going to give you some tools to equip you to be successful as you launch out, okay? So that's why I'm so excited about being here at Washburn Tech. This is my 3rd year here, and I've been able to train over 1,500 students here in work ethics. So we have over 1,500 students trained in what you're going to get trained in, okay? So that's awesome. We're getting things out there and trying to help equip people with the soft skills. I would say that probably of the 7 A's, you guys, my strongest of the 7 A's is a toss-up between attitude or ambition. Most people say about me that I'm a fairly positive teacher or fairly positive person. So if my positivity oozes out onto you, I hope that's okay. But I'm pretty much a person that sets high goals and goes after them. Okay, so you'll be sharing that with me next time, with what is your strongest of the 7 A's. Now, we're going to talk about personality. So everybody open up to page 3. We're going to talk about personality shapes. So I like to start out by asking this question. How many of you have ever taken a personality test? It might have been the Myers-Briggs, it might have been the DISC. Usually I have people introduce themselves first. And if I ever hear any students say to me, you know, I'm really not sure what my goals, dreams, plans are after Washburn Tech, I encourage them to go, this test is free, you guys, it's Myers-Briggs. I took it 3 years ago when I started this job, and what it does is, based on your personality, it gives you suggestions of what jobs or careers people tend to gravitate toward with your similar personality. So when I took the test, you guys, it was so crazy because it suggested like manager, event planner, recruiter, life coach, instructor, like all jobs that I've had, okay? So it was kind of cool. So it might give you some good ideas if you wanted to, to take that test, and you just Google Myers-Briggs and you can take it. So most of the tests, there's one out there called the Enneagram. It's what number you are. There's one out there what animal you are. There's all sorts of different ones, okay? But the one that I'm going to teach you about today is called psychogeometrics. It's the shape personalities. It's the shapes towards which people tend to gravitate toward. Now the beauty of this is you don't have to take a test, okay? You don't have to take a test, but you're going to be able to figure out what somebody else is without saying, like, what's your name? Diamond. So let's say, Diamond, that you and I work together, okay? And I'm trying to kind of get to know you better and figure you out a little bit as your manager. It would be, or even your coworker, it would be kind of weird for me to say, hey, Diamond, would you take this test so I can figure you out? Right? So this is going to be a way that I could figure out what you are just based on getting to know you by these characteristics and traits. So here's the 5. They're the squares, the triangles, the pentagons, the circles, and the lightning bolts. And here's what I want you guys to do. You don't have to read that information. It'll be there for you next time when we talk about the strengths and the challenges of each shape. But what I want you to do is you're going to circle. I want you to circle the one that, as I'm explaining it, is your top choice. It's your first choice. Okay? I could be like talking through this and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so totally me. Okay? Then I want you to put a star next to your second choice. So it may come down to, gosh, I could either be this or I could be that. Okay? So your second choice you're going to star. And then you're going to put a check mark next to the one that you are least like. One of these that I'm explaining, you're going to be like, that is so not me. That's opposite of me. Okay? Now this is what these stand for. The circle is your strongest personality. This is the mode you operate in when you're just like cruising through life doing your thing. Okay? The star is your fallback personality. That's the mode you go into when you're under stress. Now, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get stressed. So I want you to know what mode you go into when you're under stress. And then the check mark is the shape that you're least like. This tends to be the personality that you tend to butt heads with the most because you think so differently than them. So this will be important for you to know this too. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start going through the characteristics of each of these. You're going to put a circle next to your first choice. You're going to put a star next to your second choice. And you're going to put a check next to the one you're least like. Now, so see if this one sounds like you. Squares are organized and hardworking. They like structure and rules. They don't like situations where they don't know what's expected of them. So if you're a person that does not like surprises, if just the fact that I've come in here today is throwing you off because you're used to Miss Kelly, not Miss Heidi, and I'm doing things differently than her, you might be a square because you're used to things being a certain way, okay? These are my get or done people. So if I gave you a deadline, if you're a square, if I give a square a deadline, they're going to get it done every time, okay? They also prefer working alone versus working in a team. So if you're a person that prefers just let me do my job, don't bother me, you might be a square, okay? They are also my thinkers. So they're logical, sequential in their thinking. They like to gather a lot of information before they make a decision. So they tend to be slower to make decisions and resistant to change. If you think about that, if we've made a logical decision, why should we change? That's what they're thinking. Okay, they've gathered all the facts. There's no reason we should change, is in their mind. Okay, and these people tend to ask why a lot more. So they may come across as being like belligerent a little bit, but they're just very inquisitive. Well, why do we do it that way? That's why I tried to kind of share with you why we were doing things a little bit differently today, because maybe that was throwing some of you off. Okay? All right, so that's the square. If that sounds like you, you circle it. Second like you, star it. Least like you, check it, or just keep listening. The next one's the triangle. Just like there's a point at the top of this triangle. My triangles are my natural leaders. They're very decisive. They're very much able to focus on their goals. They have confidence in themselves and their opinions. They don't hesitate telling everyone else the way the world is or what to do. So if you've ever been around a triangle, if there is chaos or lack of leadership, okay? This person will rise up and start saying, like, you need to go do this, and you need to go do that, and you're like, okay, who died and put you in charge, right? You may think that about some people, that they seem a little bossy or something like that. These people are actually probably triangles, and so they can shoot from the hip. They can they kind of can focus in on achieving our goals. But because of that, sometimes they're perceived as self-centered and egotistical. Okay, like, I got it going on, it's all about me, and I'm, like that, okay? These people like recognition, they like accomplishment, and they like status. So I'm a doctor, or I'm a, whatever. They like that kind of credentials, okay? Most American businesses are run by triangles, and triangles make decisions quickly and are energized by change, especially when it moves them toward their goal. So they're almost opposite. They can make decisions quickly, and they like change, especially when it's moving them toward their goal. Okay, so that's a triangle. So either circle, star, or check, or keep listening. The next one's the pentagon.
Yes.
Okay, pentagons are my seeker, explorer, adventurous type people. Okay, they kind of want to know, who am I? What's the world all about? They're probably the most receptive of any of the shapes to learning. So if you're a person that likes to take risks, if you like personal growth and development, if you like to try new things, if you're more kind of adventurous, I did say they're adaptable, okay? They're the only shape that's not frozen. Just like this pentagon has multiple sides, pentagons see all sides of a situation, okay? So sometimes they can cause confusion with their coworkers or with people. Like if you're around a pentagon, you're like, just not sure where they're going to land on an issue because it depends, okay? So they tend to be slower to make decisions or have difficulty making decisions because they see all sides of a situation. But they do thrive on change because they want to try new things and experience, new things. We all, though, you guys go through pentagon periods when we're going through times of change, okay? So if you're a senior this year and you feel like, oh my gosh, life's about to change, you may feel pentagonish because you're in a transition phase, right? But are you, I guess the question I would have you ask yourself is, are you always like a risk taker, pretty adaptable, want to, try new things, learn and grow? Personal growth and development, that kind of stuff would be maybe the thing to hone in on with the pentagon, okay? Circles. Circles are my people. They love to be around people. They listen and communicate well. They can read people really well, and they can spot a phony right off the bat. They're probably the most empathetic of all the shapes, and they're very perceptive and considerate of other people's feelings. They like harmony. What that means is they like it when people get along. And they have the greatest difficulty in dealing with conflict or having to make unpopular decisions. Okay, they don't want to have to rock the boat. Okay, they're easily swayed by other people's feelings and opinions because they actually care about what other people think. Okay, these people can be great managers because they're really good with people, but they would not thrive in an environment that's highly polarized. For example, right now the political scene, where half the people are over here, half the people are over here. If you say where you are, you've offended half the people. I mean, they don't like that. They want people to get along, okay? And they would prefer that other people make decisions, and they would be happy if nothing ever changed and we were one big happy family. That's kind of the circle, okay? And the last one is the lightning bolt. Lightning bolts are my creative what-if type people. They're always thinking of new ways to do things. Their minds never stop. They can see the forest and miss the tree. What that means is they know where they need to go, but they don't let all this stuff get in the way of keeping them from going there. They don't like highly structured environment. They don't tolerate boring, mundane. They tend to have a shorter attention span. They want to be able to get excitement from their work. They're highly motivated by change. They even see change as fun, but here's the deal with the lightning bolt. Sometimes they make decisions too quickly without thinking things through, and it comes back to bite them on the backside. Okay? Okay. But if you are a person that's like, think outside the box, visionary, creative, that type of person, you might be a lightning bolt. Okay? So in summary, we have the squares that are organized and hardworking, the triangles, which are the natural leaders, the pentagons, which are the seeker, explorer, adventurous type people, the circles that are people, and the lightning bolts that are creative thinkers. Then everybody circle one, star one, and check one. If you struggle, so sometimes I have people that are like, I don't know. Okay, so here's what I found, you guys. I mean, you know yourself best, but you may need to ask a friend, you know, I did this little, and I don't like to make people do homework, but I did this little activity in my CNA class today. You know, teacher came in, was teaching us about personality shapes, and I really wasn't sure which one I am. What do you think I am? Okay, you could ask that question. Because sometimes it's hard to figure out where you really, how you really are. But when somebody else who's around you a lot, they can kind of speak into that situation. I've also found that people have a difficulty who have a difficulty not knowing which shape they are sometimes pentagons, because they see themselves in all sides of the situation. Okay, so if you're struggling, that may be why. You may be a pentagon. I don't know. Okay. Anybody have any guesses on what you think I might be?
Right.
Yes.
Circle.
Yes, circle is my first.
Triangle.
And triangle is my second. Yes.
Square.
Square is not.
Oh.
Now I will tell you, I am a circle first.
She could be
So I am a very people-oriented person. I love helping people. I love working with people. I care about you guys. I want to see you be successful in life. Okay. Yeah. So that I was wanting to get to know everybody. Okay. Yeah. A people person would want to get to know everybody. Okay. A square would be like, which might be why you thought I was a square, because I don't typically do the class this way. I was like, okay, we got to get down to business. We're going to get her done, right? So sometimes it takes a little while to see what somebody is. Now you said I was a triangle. What made you think I was a triangle?
Well,
Part triangle.
I mean, I can tell you're kind of like, you're like knowledgeable about things, so you're probably a little bit self-absorbed.
A little bit self-absorbed, okay.
And I can tell you're a good leader.
Okay, a leader, okay. Yeah, so every role that I've ever been in, I've had to, even when I'm not a leader, if you guys circle triangle, any fellow triangle people in this group? Okay, see if this plays out for you. Do you guys feel this way, that even if you're not in a leadership role, people will look to you and be like, so what do you think about that? I mean, they do that to me sometimes, and even when I'm not in a leadership role, and I'll be like, I'm really not the one in charge, but I'm like going, I see the part of me that's the part triangle I don't like, because I don't want to think that I'm egotistical or self-centered. I'm hoping that the circle in me balances out that, but I could be perceived as that I think I know it all. Okay. All right. Why do you think it's important to know what shape you are? So you know how you interact with other people. What were you going to say?
I'm just going to say, like, the word that they can say, like how we are on the job.
How you're going to be on the job. What environment you're going to be best in. Yes. I would even say that it's going to help you be better at selecting what jobs might fit you the best too. So I always say, like, do you think a square would love, now sometimes we have to take jobs, right? Sometimes we just have to take a job because we have to provide. But if you can do a good, better, best, should a square, knowing that they don't like surprises, take a job that every day is different? Surprise, it's very unorganized. Probably not. They're not going to love it. Should a triangle take a job where they never get to exercise their leadership or work into management or things? No, they're going to feel stifled or under thumb. Should a pentagon take a job that they don't get to learn and grow anything? It's just the same thing every day. Should a circle take a job that you don't get to interact with people?
Oh, hell
No, that's your strength, is people. Should a lightning bolt take a job where they can't be creative or visionary or think outside the box? See what I'm saying? But I would also tell you, on the flip side, how could you be successful in a health environment? How could you be successful as a square in the health profession? They're gonna pay attention to what's going on with their patient. They're gonna chart those records really well. They're gonna dot those I's, cross those T's. I mean, all the documentation's gonna be in place. How could a triangle thrive in a health profession environment? They're hard workers. You do have to take some sort of leadership for your
Probably
patient.
Pick up slack.
Pick up the slack. Yeah, maybe you're gonna work into the lead charge nurse or something like that, or be the head over of other people, okay? How could a Pentagon thrive in a health profession?
Adapting.
They're adaptable. Sometimes you're asked to go to different places. You're asked to learn new things, go get training. You gotta stay on top of the new innovative things that are happening in the medical field, right? How about a circle? Why would circles be good for the health profession?
People.
They care about people. What better people to be in this profession than people that care about people? And lightning bolts, the creative type people, how could they be good in the health profession?
New ideas.
They can try new things and think outside the box. Sometimes you have to, when you're diagnosing people, have to think outside the box. You have to kind of envision, if we tried this, how could that work out, right? You're up moving around. Every day is different. You're working with different people, right? So that would really help the lightning bolt. Okay. When I teach the strengths and challenges next time, the other thing that I would coach you on is that each one of these shapes has some strengths and some challenges. When you guys get in an interview, they're gonna always ask you this question. So they'll say, tell me a little bit about yourself, or they'll say, so what are your strengths? Or why should we hire you? Or they'll say, so tell me about a weakness you have. Okay, after we go through this, you're gonna be able to talk about some things, your awareness about some things. So since I'm part circle, sometimes here's what I might say. You know, I'm a person that really cares about what other people, cares about others. Sometimes taken to an extreme, that can be a problem if you care too much about what other people think. Okay, so one of the things that I'm learning about myself is that I'm gonna just do the best I can, and then I'm gonna have to be okay with the fact that sometimes people are gonna like me and some people aren't, and that's okay. Okay, so I always talk about what I'm aware of, but then always spin it to the positive. You wanna pick something strategic when you're talking about weaknesses. So if you're a person that never gets here on time, I don't know that I would lead with, I never make it to class on time, okay? That would be a red flag, red flag. They probably might not wanna hire you if you're always late. Or I start things, but I never finish them. That would be another weakness thing that I would not, hopefully you're not that way, but when you're doing a weakness question, I'll coach you more on this next time. You have some talking points of what are your strengths and what are your challenges. So this can help you be more confident in an interview, because not only do you know yourself well, you know where you could best contribute, and so that's a good thing. Okay. So next time I see you, we're going to do the pre-assessment. We will do the introductions as well, and then we'll get started with the next A, which is your attitude.